Okay, now we are going to read the data from the real WebSocket. So we need the real data through the socket which we have created before. So for that, I'm going first to use the socket which we have created in app.tsx and then move that socket or use the same instance to read data from that socket. So if we go to the app.tcx, we need as well to use that instance. So you cannot create another socket or connect there in the home screen, but you need as well to use the same socket. So for that, I will say export for me this constant, and then I am going to import it in the home page. So let's go to the home screen after I save this one. So in the home screen, I will say import for me the variable which is called socket from the app. So it's exactly how it is here. So because we made export there, then we can import it here as we saw before. So now I am able to use this socket to read the messages which are coming from the backend. So I will go here and I will say socket as well. If you remember how we were sending messages, we can specify a function which is called on, and then I will say here the same key which we used or the event which we used for sending the messages. And if you remember, we were using something called crypto. And the same way how we did with the backend, exactly we can use a callback, and this callback will contain the messages which I want. So let's try now to have a console log. So I will say here console.log for me the data which are coming through that message. So I will say here I am getting the data. So this is the callback will contain the data which are coming through the WebSocket. So let's save now, and I am going to open my terminal or the Metro terminal. So let me move it for you here. So as you see, I have here in the console log that I am logging the data which I am getting from the backend, and it's sending every specific time like which I specified in the backend. 5 seconds, 20 seconds, it's up to you. So we saw that previously. So now we are ready to transfer those data which we got as well to the front end. So we can make them in a beautiful way, exactly how we hard coded this one. So the problem here that, okay, I will have the constant of the crypto list, and then I will say, okay, this data, we can say like, let's remove for now this hard coded data. So we don't need them anymore because we are going to use the data which are coming from the backend. Okay, now I will get this variable, and then I will say here instead of the console log, I will place here the data, like the crypto list will equal to data. Now I will get error because that this crypto list is not seen by the flat list. Because as you see, we are out of the scope of the home screen. The scope of the home screen is from here, so as you see, to here. So in that way, we will not be able to get this crypto list. Okay, let's do something else. So I can define this variable or this crypto list outside first, and I assign the data to it. So I will say here, instead of const crypto list, I will say here let. Let, as you know, that it's a variable, defining a variable in JavaScript, and it will be initially as empty. So we will say that this is the type of this crypto list is crypto array, and then I will say here, like not const, we remove it, I'm going to assign the crypto list to the data to the crypto list. So in that way, I must see somehow this crypto list is rendered because now it's inside or it's very global outside. So the global of this variable can be seen in any another function or in any another block or scope. So for that, I am going to say, okay, this crypto list is equal to data and use it here. But we don't see anything. We don't see any data. This is because React Native is rendering the screen based on something called, how to say, the state. So sometimes there is delay from this socket. So when the application is loaded, this is initialized and then directly this flat list is rendered here. As you see here, the initialization is empty array. So we have empty array. And it happened one time. So the screen is not getting updated and the flat list is not listening anymore to the changes of the variable crypto list. So for that, we are going to use in the next lecture something called use state and use effect.